Charles Barkley is living the year of a basketball lifetime. In the past 12 months, he's won an Olympic gold medal. Charles Barkley has experienced a virtual career rebirth since being traded to Phoenix. And he's earned well-deserved recognition as the NBA's most valuable player. But Charles Barkley believes that none of this will matter unless his ultimate wish comes true.
The MVP I felt unbelievable, but the bottom line, the MVP is not my goal. If we don't win the world championship, I'm going to be crushed.
Tonight, Charles Barkley's self-ascribed quest can come one step closer to reality. His career-long dream of an NBA Finals is one win away. Somehow, everything else he's without it.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1993 NBA playoffs. Tonight, Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals between the Phoenix Suns and the Seattle SuperSonics.
6 o'clock in the great Northwest in the Emerald City, the Seattle Coliseum in the shadows of the famed Space Needle the scene. 14,000 plus Sonics fans will bring super sound to support the Seattle victory that would force a Game 7 and prolong, if not deny, Charles Barkley's NBA championship dream. Hello everyone, I'm Dick Enberg with Magic Johnson. 5 NBA titles, 9 times in the finals. This has been a very contentious combination, Seattle and Phoenix. They played 10 times this year. Each has won 5. Phoenix with a 3-2 edge, 1 game away from the finals in the playoffs. For Seattle, how do they force Game 7?
Well, Coach George Kyle said, look, I'm not upset at what happened in Game 5. If I can get the same effort, 11 block shots, shoot over 50%, and get Sean Kemp to score career-high 33 points, hey, I will win this game here tonight.
Just copy Game 5 and bring it here to the Coliseum, and he feels that'll be good enough to win. Charles Barkley, the MVP, he had Magic Johnson numbers in Game 5.
Well, he had a high triple-double. He had 43 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 assists. And a lot of those three-pointers that Dan Marley shot, 8 three-pointers, Charles Barkley gave him those passes from being double-teamed. So look for Charles Barkley to try to take over this game here tonight.
Well, taking charge was an understatement in Game 5 for Barkley. There is no statistic in this series that correlates more strongly with victory than the bench performance. More on that, here's Steve Jones.
That's right, Dick. In Game 1, 3 and 5, the Phoenix Suns dominated with their bench, and it was 2 and 4 that the Seattle SuperSonics had the edge. And you talk about the 77 points that Marley and Barkley combined, but without the 11 points from Tom Chambers, they would not have an edge tonight. Eddie Johnson was a hero for the Sonics in Game 4. They need him to connect for a win to tie this thing up.
Maybe Johnson's turn. Barkley and Marley combining for 77, the Phoenix powerhouse tandem. Can they play to that performance tonight? Beautiful late afternoon, early evening scene along the Puget Sound. And the sound is for the Sonics here in the Coliseum. Starting lineups for the visitors from Phoenix. KJ running the show at point guard. Dan Marley shooting from outside. Barkley, brilliant in the playoffs as he was all year. Richard Dumas, the rookie, has had his hands full defensively. Mark West is the blocker and rebounder for Paul Westphal, who played 1 year in Seattle and is number 44 retired. He, like his counterpart, George Karl, a guard in the NBA. For the Sonics, it'll be Gary Payton running the show at point. Ricky Pierce, their leading scorer regular season. Sean Kemp, a superstar in the making. Derek McKee, solid both ends. And at center, Sam Perkins, who knows how to get to the finals. The former Lakers star as well, traded at midseason. George Karl, unpredictable, admits at times himself he's a little bit crazy. He likes his teams to play that way. He played a guard at Carolina and then guard 5 years for the San Antonio Spurs. Who's the pressure on here, Phoenix or Seattle?
Well, I think the pressure is definitely on Seattle. And let's see if they come out and try to relax, though. I think when you have pressure on you, sometimes you shoot tight, you play tight, and that's not going to be good for Seattle. They must play that crazy, wild style that create turnovers for them, and then they can get out in the open court and get some of those fast breaks. They're banking on the fact that they're at home and the fact that they know that Dan Marley, they're hoping anyway that Dan Marley cannot hit 8 3-pointers here in this building in Seattle.
Yeah, a lot of good players, good shooters, with no one guarding them can't make 8 out of 10 as Marley did. As one of the scores in Game 5.
I know I couldn't.
We're underway, Game 6. Another must game for Seattle. They've survived 3 of those already in the playoffs. 2 against Utah, 1 versus Houston. Payton to McKee. Perkins, Kemp from outside. Sean Kemp. He had 33 in the last game. KJ setting up Dumas on the side. Barkley behind it. Barkley for 3. Mark West gives Phoenix another chance. Dumas in the lane. Richard Dumas ties it at 2. Pierce with Dumas inside to Kemp against Barkley. Perkins takes a 3. And Marley rebounds.
Well, the fans can expect a lot of running here in the first quarter. These last 2 games have been high-scoring first quarters.
And Phoenix, the highest-scoring team in the league this year, averaging over 113 a game. Marley's first shot, dead center. 4-2 Phoenix.
Not a good sign. It's a good sign for Phoenix, not a good sign for Seattle with him continuing to shoot well from the outside.
Sean Kemp, great pass underneath, and that ties it at 4 as Gary Payton, who had 20 points in Game 5, has his first tonight.
If fans can remember, Game 5, Sean Kemp did a lot of great inside passing when he was double-teamed, and that was just another one.
It's off the defender Kemp, and Barkley will trigger it inbounds. Apparently not. He steps aside for Marley. 12 on the shot clock. Dumas. Rebound Perkins. Pierce draws the foul from Dumas. Talked about how closely matched these 2 teams are. 4 points separate them. 5 field goals. That's 1 field goal per game. Same number of free throws and turnovers and 2 more steals for the Sonics. They are very evenly balanced.
And what fans should understand is with those 2 great performances that Barkley and Marley gave Phoenix Suns, it was a 1-point game with 34 seconds to go. If Marley don't hit that 3-pointer, who knows? Seattle might have won that game in Game 5.
Marley commits the foul. Second team on the Suns. I don't know what this delay concerns. Perhaps a clock problem. Yes, they're winding down the shot clock. Now they put the
shot clock back at 24 because of the foul, and it's the game clock down to 10:08. Gives us a chance to remind you, Game 6 of the Eastern Finals at the stadium in Chicago tomorrow night. That too live in prime time on NBC at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 here in the West. If this goes Game 7, it'll be Saturday at 3 Eastern. Barkley with the rebound. Kevin Johnson on the run. Good fake. And he can't hit the layup, but it's batted out to Marley. Pressuring Kevin Johnson. He has it picked off, and that gives Pierce the easy two. They've been double teaming KJ the entire series effectively.
Every time that he comes across half court, what they want to do is double team him and get the ball out of his hands, make somebody else handle it.
And the foul is on whom? On the block. As Johnson jamming his way in, and it apparently was Perkins who gets the foul.
Well, here's the double team again. Well, it's up court. You see the steal part of it, and Ricky Pierce that's laying it up. But they're going to double team KJ really hard and try to do it with bigger people.
Marley underneath to score and tie it up. The foul, going back to the previous play, was not on Perkins but on Payton before the collision.
And that was an excellent pass down low from Charles Barkley to Marley, cutting through.
Gary Payton. Kevin, another 15-footer. This one doesn't drop. McKee rebounds. Blocked by West. Out to Barkley. Barkley has it go off the foot of Pierce. That appeared to be a good call.
Yeah. And this is what Charles Barkley wants to do. He wants to get it the rebound himself, take it down the court himself, and try to make something happen.
Tough to see from that angle.
Yes, it was tough.
Tied at 6, just underway here in Game 6. Kevin Johnson has it knocked away, and last touched by Dumas. George Karl Sonics go the other way, tied at 6. Chronicled Game 5 and throughout the series, leading the NBA in steals and forced turnovers, and they forced 2 already in this opening period. Payton over Johnson. Gary Payton.
He shot very well from the outside in Game 5. It looked like his confidence has carried over to this game. And if he can have a big shooting night for Seattle, that's going to be trouble for Phoenix.
Johnson, it won't fall, but West is there to jam home the rebound. It's tied at 8.
See, they didn't reward themselves for playing good defense, that being Seattle. They played excellent defense, got the shot they wanted, but they must get the rebound. They were out-rebounding the game.
Barkley is limping in the lane. I don't know what that is about. Pierce for 3. And the first tray of the night goes to Seattle's Ricky Pierce. But it was 5 points.
It was good offense, Dick. Inside, outside. They went inside, got the double team, and he passed it out to a wide open Ricky Pierce.
Marley blocked by Payton. Payton all the way. McKee follows it home, and Seattle leads by 5.
This is the kind of game that Seattle wants. They want an up-tempo, crazy game. Gets Phoenix into a wild shootout with them.
Barkley tries the 3, and Dumas rebounds. John Kemp the other way for Seattle. Whoops, runs over Johnson, no whistle. McKee scores, 15-8. Timeout, Paul Westphal of Phoenix. Now Barkley appears to be all right now. Maybe he was just feigning an injury. We'll be right back. 7-0 run for the Sonics to take a 15-8 lead midway through the first quarter. We saw Barkley, whether it's a cramp or he turned an ankle, favoring that side. Steve Jones checked it out. What's the word?
Well, Charles Barkley banged his knee, but he's okay. He's more concerned about the temperament of Paul Westphal, very angry about how this team responded here at the top.
The other factor is that Barkley, game 5, was 11 for 11 inside. You don't have to be a genius to figure that's his game. But his first 2 shots before that were 3-point attempts. And he misses the 10-footer. This is Payton to Kemp, and Barkley breaks it up. And is there a foul?
No, Barkley knocked it out of bounds.
What an athletic effort. Look at this mid-air duel.
Yeah, both guys going up high here. You see that Barkley had the inside position, and he was able to knock the ball out of bounds. Good call. You know, the funny thing is, in the first couple possessions for Seattle, they've gone inside, and the big people, Sean Kemp and Derek McKee, have responded. Now, in Game 5, they didn't go inside that much. When they did, they got double-teamed, but it's not happening tonight.
Perkins not there. Barkley collects the rebound. Doing a good job defensively on Kevin Johnson. Barkley now being harassed by Payton, and a whistle away from the ball. 3-second violation against the Suns. Dumas.
Seattle is doing an excellent job of team defense right now. They got this crowd going crazy too as well. And from what George Karl loves is energy, and he's getting the energy from his players and from the crowd.
Kevin Johnson deflects it out of bounds. Ball to Seattle with 5:50 left in this first period. And Charles Barkley, who had that mammoth 43-point effort in the last game, has been shut out thus far. Ricky Pierce. You can't give him that one. That's 9 straight points scored by Seattle. Kevin Johnson answers for Phoenix to stop the 9-point run by the Sonics. Good move. Sean Kemp draws the foul. Showed that great first step.
Yeah, he usually comes to the middle, but I think he caught Mark West off guard, and he spun to the baseline and created the contact, and is going to the foul line.
And for Seattle fans, a good sign early is the fact that Kemp is on the free throw line and not raising his hand with fouls. He's been in early trouble in 2 of the games of this series.
Now, usually Paul Westphal always comes in with Cedric Sabalas in this situation, but right now he's going with Tom Chambers. The reason that Derek McKee has been giving them so many problems inside, so he's going to match Tom Chambers, who's about 4 inches taller, at 6'10", against Derek McKee. And also that Tom Chambers shot the ball very well from the outside in game number 5.
Chambers comes in shooting and hits.
So that's what he's going with. He's going with that scoring, and also he's going with the veteranness that he gives them. He's been here before.
Kemp found himself in tight, but immediately under the iron and couldn't get the ball on the glass. A foul on Tom Chambers, his first.
Sam Perkins gets double teamed, and Sean Kemp is right there, goes in, spins, and created contact and got the foul. What they're doing now, they're attacking more. They're not settling for the jump shot early in the first quarter, that being Seattle. They're taking the ball to the basket and getting free throws from doing that.
And they'll be in the penalty from now on, whereas Phoenix has seen only 1 foul whistled against Seattle. Kemp has missed his first 2, makes it 18-12. He now has 3 points.
Now, I haven't seen that in the first quarter in game number 1, in game 5, Phoenix went to Charles Barkley a lot. They're not doing that in this particular game. So let's see if that changes.
Mark West over Perkins, no foul. West gets it back, stripped away. McKee stole the ball. Payton brings it in. Marley on Pierce. Pierce, the 2. 21-12, Seattle. Pierce leads with 9. And Barkley is yet to score in nearly 8 minutes of this opening quarter.
Seattle has it going here in the first half. They have their inside game going as well as their outside game going with Ricky Pierce.
Perkins fronting West with a steal. Payton again hurries it into the offensive end. Marley the other way for Phoenix. Johnson. Barkley. And he still hasn't scored. Foul against Sam Perkins.
Maybe getting Phoenix some momentum and getting them back in this game. So it was a good foul there by Sam Perkins.
Barkley, no points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and this is 7th NBA playoffs and trying to reach the finals for the first time. One difficult victory away. .251 remaining in the opening period. Welcome back. Seattle's cry, especially from their fans, is we get no respect. Some players understand the time-proven formula.
First of all, you have to earn your respect, and the way you earn your respect as far as is winning. And when we start winning some of the things that Chicago has in the last couple of years, we'll get that respect.
When you don't have that mega superstar, sometimes that attention is slow coming to you, and it's not because of your team is not respected. It's just because that the people would like to see that superstar. It has nothing to do with disrespecting the team.
And of course, Eddie Johnson alluding to the fact that Charles Barkley, he's a national marquee name. Danny Ainge inside to score his first, and Phoenix chips away. The Seattle lead down to 5.
Well, what you have to do in the NBA, you have to earn and take respect. If they beat Phoenix in this series, then they will get a lot of respect from a lot of players and from other people. But you got to remember something. If they lose this, no matter, and that's anybody else who loses, nobody will remember who played in the Western Conference Finals, just like they won't remember who played in the Knicks New York series, the Knicks and Chicago series either, the loser. They never remember the loser.
You're already having trouble remembering.
That's right.
Eddie Johnson rebounds. McMillan making his first appearance. And Barkley there for the steal. And then stripped away by Kemp. And a foul on Sean Kemp.
I tell you, Sean Kemp is playing an excellent game. He is really aggressive and all over this court.
Well, they did not call the foul. The ball was on the baseline. Turnovers. Phoenix has committed 5, 2 for Seattle. Sean Kemp up vigorously defensively on Barkley. And Barkley scores his 4th point. 23-20 Seattle.
They've slowly crept back in this game here, that being the Phoenix Suns. And they're taking this crowd out of it again. They're quiet now.
Kemp's miss rebounded by Barkley. And here come the Suns. They've scored the game's last 6 points. Barkley makes it an 8-point run, and it's a 23-22 Seattle lead. Final minute, quarter number 1. Pearson the give and go to Michael Cage. Rattles out. Cage gets it back. McMillan for 2. Eddie Johnson the rebound. And draws the foul from Danny Ainge.
Well, Charles Barkley has been asserting himself in his last 2 possessions. He took a drive that time, off balance and good. He's upset at the referee, and then he comes right back with a jump shot here. They back off of him, and he just takes the shot, and he's brought Phoenix back in this game.
Eddie Johnson.
Substitution for the SuperSonics. It's number 3, Dana Barros.
Dana Barros comes in for Seattle, their best long-range shooter. Johnson, the 3rd best free throw shooter in the league this year, behind Mark Price and Chris Jackson. Hits his 2. Great move inside by Kevin Johnson. It counts and a...
No, it didn't.
No, it didn't. Out on the floor.
Yeah,
Looked like he was saying the ball was good.
It was an excellent move. He crossed over on him, and caught him by himself, cross over there, went in, see he got bumped way outside, and they waved the basket off, but he'll get free throws anyway.
Barros with a foul with 27.7 seconds. There you see it.
You know what Seattle wants Kevin Johnson to do? They'd rather for Kevin Johnson to shoot jump shots than to penetrate, because once he penetrates, he has so many options. Charles Barkley cutting, Marley and Danny Ainge spotting for threes, or he can take it and lay it up himself. So they'd rather keep him on the perimeter.
So Johnson, when he's scoring, the Suns are winning. Charles Barkley didn't get a breather until there were like 2 seconds left in Game 5, and this is the normal pattern. Paul Westphal likes to rest him right at the end of the first quarter through the break between first and second periods, and then bring him back early in the second quarter.
Plus, it's different when you're on the road as compared to when you're at home. When you're at home, you can play 47 minutes, but when you're on the road, it's a little bit more difficult to do that. So this was a wise move by Paul Westphal. Now let's see if Seattle can get a good shot on this last possession here.
They missed 5 straight field goal attempts and lead by 2. 3-second difference between the shot and game clock. Kemp takes it inside and scores. 6.9 seconds. Kemp with 8. Marley. Oh, a tough left-handed bank by Marley, who has 6.
It was very tough.
And that's the end of the first quarter here at the Seattle Coliseum. And as we've stated, these two teams so well matched, and the score reflects it after the first 12. Pierce leading Seattle, but only to a 2-point lead, 27-25. Kevin Johnson of the Phoenix Suns getting ready for the second quarter in this series. He has hit the deck often. And George Karl says he's going to get knocked down if he comes in the middle. Are we supposed to treat him like a queen or a princess? Well, KJ took exception to the female regal reference, so we asked George Karl about it.
All I said was, I don't even think this series has gotten dirty yet. I don't think it's even close to where it should be. And what should we do? Get out of his way? He puts his head down like a bowling ball sometimes, and the only way to stop him is get in his way. And when you get in his way, someone's going to fall. I just think we're not going to treat him like a king.
Not like a king, he said. Well, you saw a bump there. He didn't go down, but they have played Kevin Johnson physically.
So what you have to understand, not just Kevin, any guard, anybody in any series, especially this one, if you go into the basket, they're not going to let him have layups. There's a no layup rule in the playoffs, and they're not going to let him get to the basket. If they do, he's going to kill them all night long.
Michael Cage committed that foul. 27-26 Seattle.
Now, if I'm George Karl, I'm not happy, because in the last 3 minutes and 42 seconds, the bench only scored 4 points. So what happened is the starters got off to a good start, and the bench did not come in and play well. So he's got to be concerned with that.
Phoenix hit 7 of their last 9 shots in that quarter. Tied again. Barros to Cage. Eddie Johnson. Eddie Johnson has 4. Marley for 3. Oh my. And that's the first lead for Phoenix since it was 4-2.
But there was 2 Seattle players looking right at him when he pulled up for the 3 instead of running out at him.
Eddie Johnson tries to answer with a 3 of his own. Cage gives Seattle an extra chance. Barros for 3, and it just misses. Kemp!
There goes that man again. He has been the man who's been leading them from the first quarter now in the second quarter. Sean Kemp is playing an excellent game so far.
Just as he did in Game 5 at 33, he leads with 10 tonight.
Well, you're getting to see a guy who's emerging as a star in this league.
Rebound Kemp, he has 4 boards. 31-30 the Sonics. Kemp traveled, he got the ball caught. Little fancy move, and it got caught behind it.
Well, that's all right, because the time before that, he showed you something different. Sky real high, and then come in with the monster jam. I'm happy for him, that being Sean Kemp, that fans around the country will finally get to see him play, because he is an athlete like no other in this league. He can jump, block shots, run, and he's only 23 years old.
Yeah, you forget this man is 6 feet 10 inches tall the way he moves.
And didn't play college ball either, so he's got a lot to learn still.
Signed as a 19-year-old. Kevin Johnson won't fall. And he yells at the official looking for the foul. Paul Westphal agreeing, throws his arms up. Oliver Miller a reach in on the rookie. Talked about Miller and those long arms of his that equate to a man 7 feet 7 inches. That's his wing spread.
I tell you, next year he's going to get even better. It's a man who, Oliver Miller, can really do it all. He can score, he can pass. He's an excellent shot blocker because of those long arms.
And the loss of weight, 41 pounds during the year. Barrows not there. Chambers with a rebound. Johnson picked off Barrows, who was going for the steal. Ainge hits the 3.
Oh, man, did he pick him off?
9:50 to go in this first half, and it's Seattle with the ball down by 2. Eddie Johnson has it knocked away. It goes to Cage, and Cage having trouble.
Phoenix has really picked up their defense. They're all over this court, playing excellent team defense.
Barrows all the way with 2 seconds. And buzzer goes off for 24 seconds, and that actually hurt Phoenix. They had a 3-1 break.
It's Phoenix ball. There's a timeout on the floor.
Okay, here's KJ here. And what's going to happen is Burrow's going to come. You're not going to be able to see him right now. He's going to come over and watch KJ right there. Clip him off right there. Man, I tell you, they missed one, and then Danny Ainge came down for the 3-pointer.
Time out. 9:27 to go in the half. Largest city in the United States, Seattle, Washington. They're thinking about a new arena. This is the second smallest, second only to Portland's 14,000 plus. 9:27 to go in the first half. Dick Enberg with Magic Johnson and Steve Snapper-Jones. Game 7, if, would be on Saturday afternoon in Phoenix. 3 o'clock Eastern time. Perkins back in the game. Chambers from outside, and Phoenix enjoys its largest lead, 4.
Well, now for Seattle on their offensive end, since Sean Kemp is on the bench, who are they going to go to now to get some offensive production?
Definitely quiet. Double team Perkins, 5 for Barrows. Perkins with 2, forces one. Ball still alive. It beat the buzzer, and Chambers rebounds. Kevin Johnson to Marlin. Ainge for 3. Rebound Perkins.
This group for Seattle right now, they have to make up their mind who they're going to go to, because right now they're struggling and they need some points right here.
They have 2 men out there, Cage and McMillan, who don't do much scoring. And Barrows, who hasn't played much latter half of the season. McMillan gets it inside and foul Chambers. His second.
Foul on number 24, Tom Chambers.
Well, it's been just such a dramatic, intense series. The Knicks and the Bulls. And the Bulls now have the home court advantage. 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 in the West. Tomorrow night, Game 6. If it goes 7, that would be on Sunday night at 7 Eastern. And if this series goes 7, 3 o'clock Eastern time, noon in the West on Saturday. Barkley returns with 8:16 left in the half. Marley rested for the first time. At the line, Nate McMillan looking for his first point. McMillan, who has sparkled on defense in the playoffs, leading all players in steals with 38.
Now Phoenix is bench has been playing very well when Charles went to the bench. They, matter of fact, got the lead and increased it. So Coach Westball is excited, I know, about the way his bench has been playing so far.
Phoenix has dominated off the bench in the series. They have won those 3 games. And Seattle has matched them with bench play. They've won. Johnson and McMillan with a bump. And McMillan has his first foul.
Again, when KJ gets it, he's going to put his head down and he's going to look to penetrate because good things happen for Phoenix when he penetrates. Here he's going to go to penetrate and Nate bumps him off. What he wants to do is get inside, try to create offense, not for himself, but for usually his teammates, KJ.
Phoenix with the 2 big bodies on the court, Barkley and the rookie Miller, with Chambers at 6'10", Ainge and Kevin Johnson. Ainge breaks free and can't hit the layup. Good play. Cage with a rebound to McKee. Miller and Perkins battling in the post. 5 in the shot clock. McMillan throws one in, and it's 35-34.
Smart move by Nick McMillan. He saw that he had Tom Chambers on him. He said, everybody get out of my way. I'm going to take him off the dribble. And he was able to do that.
Chambers fails. McMillan breaks out 3-on-3 to Perkins.
Beautiful play.
Seattle reclaims the lead, 36-35.
It was a great penetration drive by Nate McMillan, setting up Sam Perkins for the layup.
Perkins' first points tonight. And illegal defense, and that'll be a technical foul on the Sonics, their second call.
So usually when you're a shooter, people, when you're not a scorer, people come up on you and play you tight. Well, Nate McMillan went right around Tom Chambers, and then he came right back on the dribble drive, spin move here, and he's going to kick it to Sam Perkins, who lays it in for 2. Now that's what they're going to have to do with the second unit for Seattle. They're going to have to get out on the break and take the ball to the basket.
And shoots the technical for the illegal defense. That's his 6th point, and it's tied at 36. 6:44 left in the opening half. Big day for American Mary Jo Fernandez. The 5th seed upset the number 2, Arantxa Sanchez Becario in the semifinals. Straight set 6-2, 6-2. Fernandez in the near court, who lives in Miami, had beaten Gabriela Sabatini in the quarterfinals in that marathon 3.5-hour match. And now has advanced to her first ever French Open final. She'll play Steffi Graf in Saturday's finals seen here on NBC. Graf won in straight sets today over countrywoman Anke Huber. And on the men's side, Jim Courier, 2-time defending champion. He'll go against hard-hitting Dutchman Richard Krajicek in the semis tomorrow. You'll see that beginning at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Pacific time on NBC. The French Open this weekend. It's tied in Seattle at 36. Phoenix against the Sonics in Game 6. Phoenix a victory away from the NBA Finals. Payton and McKee combined for a steal, but a whistle. Goes against McKee, his first.
It's the 3rd team foul against Seattle.
Both teams have now gotten into playing excellent team defense. They're really helping out a lot, especially when Charles Barkley gets the ball and they're scoring. There you see it right now, the double team.
Barkley hasn't scored in the second quarter. Good dish off by Kevin Johnson, and Barkley for 3. That's where Seattle wants Barkley to shoot. Fast break, and Michael Cage with a payoff. Nate McMillan sets him up.
That's what I was saying. Remember, with this group, they must get out in the transition, and that way they don't have to worry about their half-court offense.
7 lead changes, 6 ties already in this game. Chambers makes it the 7th tie at 38.
Well, he caught Gary Payton on him, and he just shot the ball right over him.
Perkins goes inside, and Mark West with a foul, his 3rd. Well, you love this kind of scene, the fast break.
Well, I love it because usually when the bench is in, they want to get out in the transition seat where they can do this very well. Michael Cage finishing the pass from Nate McMillan. See, it takes the pressure off them, have to respond until they have court set.
So far, Ben scoring Phoenix 14, Seattle 9.
Substitution
Perkins' third point, and Marley returns Danny Ainge out.
Into the game for Phoenix, number 9, Dan Marley, and number 25.
Miller replaces Mark West. West rested with 3 fouls here in the first half. At the 5:42 mark, Seattle by 1.
Seattle has been great all season long and in the playoff as well as letting their defense feed their offense. When they're playing excellent team defense, that's when they get out in the transition. When they create steals on defense, they get out into the transition game. That's what they want.
Barkley with a tough pass. And Miller can't control, so Barkley gets it back. And then it's taken away by Cage. Fans like this. Ricky Pierce. 42-38. Pierce leads all scorers with 11.
Well, remember, this is how they like to play Seattle SuperSonics. They want a wild game, and they're getting it right here.
Pierce knocked the ball away from Chambers. Payton. Rebound Miller.
Boy, is it ever wild in here. This is up and down basketball.
Kevin Johnson drains a 15-footer for his 7th point. Seattle by 2. Perkins, a 3-point attempt. He was very hot from outside the arc early rounds of the playoffs, but not against Phoenix. Miller against the veteran Perkins, and Perkins uses those long arms to pilfer it. That's the 8th turnover forced by Seattle. Pierce off balance and a foul. Marley's 2nd foul.
We're used to seeing KJ make change of direction move there. He tricked Gary Payton. He thought he was going inside, and actually he went outside and hit the jump shot. You know, he's back to being healthy now. He says he's an angry player, and he wants to be angry because you have to be angry to try to win a championship. That's what KJ was telling us yesterday.
But what's he angry about? More than just being angry in terms of wanting to be up for a final. There's more to it than that.
Well, he's also angry that he's not considered one of the best point guards in the game anymore. He's also angry that he was once being rumored to being traded from this team when Charles Barkley was trying to make that deal. So he's just an angry young man, but he's channeled that angriness here on the basketball court and not let it distract him from what he has to do on the basketball court.
He's back in, sets up Miller in the post, and the trigger, Oliver Miller. See why they're so excited about the talent of this young man from Arkansas.
As we were saying earlier, he can do a lot of things, and scoring is one of them.
Inside to McKee, and he's able to power up for his 6th point.
See, another excellent pass by Sean Kemp after he was double-teamed. He found the open man and got them an easy layup.
They knock it away from Kevin Johnson. It's Ricky Pierce. Derek McKee was shielding the lone defender all the way down court. And Miller left alone for an easy 2 at the other end.
But what happened was, see, they had Dan Marley spotting up. So Sam Perkins had Oliver Miller, and he saw Dan Marley spotting up, so he went to go out to get Dan Marley, and they caught him underneath with Oliver Miller for the slam dunk.
48-44 Seattle. Gary Payton. Rebound Miller. Johnson the long pass, and Perkins intercepts in front of Barkley. Johnson falls, so McKee gives it to Kemp. 6-point lead, Seattle.
Well, this is Seattle's pace. This is Seattle's game. They want it crazy. They want it wild. They got it all. They got the crowd going crazy. I love it. This is great basketball.
report, we'll talk with Richard Eskinas, once a frequent golfing companion of Michael Jordan, who now claims that at one point Jordan owed him as much as $1.2 million in gambling debts. Plus, we'll talk about last night's Knicks-Bulls thriller. One piece of news in that series, there was some concern that the Knicks' Charles Oakley had broken his right hand. Oakley had only 6 points and 4 rebounds in 27 minutes last night. But x-rays proved negative, although he does have a jammed knuckle on that shooting hand. We'll see you at halftime. Right now, back to Seattle as we rejoin Dick and Magic.
Along with Snapper Jones. Thank you, Bob. Charles Barkley frustrated first half. He has only 6 points, none in this second quarter. And that was symbolized by that play, the interception by Perkins, another turnover Seattle, and Barkley denied. And the Sonics have taken full advantage of the turnovers. Look at that, a 16-4 output off the takeaways.
Well, that's their game. This is what George Karl wanted in this game. He wanted them to cause turnovers and off those turnovers to score, and he's been getting that.
Think they'll go to Barkley inside on this?
But they need to now.
Oliver Miller is left alone, and Miller's hit 2 straight jumpers.
So you can't sit back on him. He's not like a regular power forward or center. He can shoot that shot.
Back with a 3 is Sam Perkins, who leads the Sonics with now 25 successful trays in the playoffs.
Well, he finally got one to go down for him. And usually when you hit one, that means you're tricking you to hit 2 or 3.
Barkley rebounds the miss by Miller and draws the foul.
And he's pushing people and elbowing people out the way. When he got this offensive rebound here, he's pushing Sean Kemp. Now watch after the play. Watch. He's going to elbow right there, push Sean Kemp. Charles is frustrated. He's upset because his players are not getting him the ball where he wants it and when he wants it.
2 minutes in a quarter, under 2 minutes
to go in the half. 14,812 here at the Coliseum, and that's against Barkley. His first disbelief from Barkley.
He's showing that frustration.
That should be a technical and is.
Well, he hooked him right there. Excellent call by Daryl Harrison. Then he slammed the ball after the call was made. And I tell you, what he's doing is getting his crowd involved now. He must now calm himself down and get ready for these last 1 minute and 53 seconds of this quarter, because if they get him upset and he's off his game, it's going to hurt his team, that being Charles Barkley.
Here's the free throw shooting deadeye. And Barkley with some tough verbiage. The Sonics, meanwhile, have opened an 8-point lead. Their largest of the game is 9, and they have the ball. So Perkins for 3. 11-point lead for Seattle.
Remember what I just told you. When you're in a slump and you've been missing, usually when you hit 1, you can come back and hit 2, and that's what happened for Sam Perkins.
Barkley short. Kemp to Pierce. Ricky Pierce. And a whistle against Marley, and that'll be his 3rd.
Everything that George Karl wanted to happen in this game so far in the the first half, is happening for him. He wanted the game to be wild and crazy. He's getting that. He wanted energy from his team. Sean Kemp started this team off with that energy. He wanted his team to take it to the basket. They get layups. So the game is being played the way Coach George Karl wanted it to be played so far.
It's a 12-point advantage, Seattle. Marley with 9 in the game, and Barkley with 6. 15 points for the tandem that rattled 77 through in Phoenix in Game 5, and the two of them have only 3 points between them in this quarter, and there's a minute 16 seconds left.
Well, I think what has happened here for Phoenix now, they have to slow down, just operate their half-court offense a little better.
13-point advantage. 18 of those scored by Pierce.
This is a big possession. They need a good offensive set here and a score.
It's Barkley who shoots it, and he's short. Rebound, Kemp. Now Seattle, they've scored 9 unanswered points. Final minute. Just what the Sonics wanted, a big first half. Here, McKee rolls in his 8-point, 15-point margin now for the Sonics. They really opened the game here just before the half.
Well, they're doing an excellent job, like I said, of inside-outside game. They're getting their jump shots to go down. Kevin Johnson responds right there. They're getting their outside shots to fall, as well as taking the ball to the basket with their inside game.
Here's to Kemp. Rebound, Marley. Advantage for Johnson. The shot clock is off. Danny Ainge for 3. Barkley, uncontested underneath, 61-50. His only points of this quarter. Barkley with just seconds remaining. And now a chance on the turnover for Miller. Perkins blocks. What a play by Big Sam.
Well, this is what's been happening. It carried over from game 5 to this game here. They've been really contesting every shot inside. Now, in game 5, they had 11 block shots. They started this game the same way. Then Sam Perkins contesting Oliver Miller. They're contesting every shot. They're not letting them drive the lane. Good half for the Seattle SuperSonics.
That's the 4th block by Seattle in the half. Only 1 for Phoenix. So a 22nd timeout by Westfall to try to figure out a way to score in this final second and a half.
See, this game has really turned around from game 5 for them. It's like what the Suns did to them in game 5. The Suns defense was really up, causing turnovers, mistakes, and now Seattle has come back doing the same thing to Phoenix.
In the last 8 minutes plus, Seattle outscoring Phoenix 30-13. Ainge for 3. It was online, but just short. The end of the half. The Sonics trying to force a decisive Game 7 in this Western Final. Lead by 11. We'll be joining Bob Costas, Quinn Buckner, and Bill Walton for the Prudential halftime report right after these messages.
The Sonics closed the half on an 11-4 run, upping their lead to 11 at 61-50. Ricky Pierce with 18. Barkley shoots just 3 of 9. He does have 8 rebounds, but only 8 points at the half. Now let's turn our attentions to the Eastern Conference, where the 6th game will be played in Chicago tomorrow night, 9 o'clock here on NBC. Bill Walton and Quinn Buckner are here, of course. This is a series everyone is talking about. Let's look at the sequence from that series that is the most talked about to this point, right at the end last night at Madison Square Garden.
Ewing drives the ball across the top of the key, and Charles Smith playing very tentative and soft underneath the basket, really a microcosm of his entire season. After he gets his first 2 shots blocked, he goes into his self-check mode, but Patrick Ewing standing around on the perimeter, very much like a lot of the disappointment for the Knicks this year. Not getting the job done, Patrick Ewing, while Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen stood up as true superstars and got the job done.
Scottie Pippen really stood up. I was impressed not only with the way he started out the game, but when you look at Charles Smith trying to get the shot up, Scottie Pippen, out of all people, is there blocking the shot. I thought he played as big as he's played all series.
Now, is that bad play, soft play by Charles Smith, or just great defensive play by the Bulls?
Very soft play underneath the basketball. When you get that ball underneath, you either go up and smash down and dunk, or you pump fake and pivot halfway around and throw in your jump hook, something they can never block.
How could Ewing have gotten there, though, without fouling over the back from where he was?
Well, it's not so much of the foul, it's the effort that Bill's talking about, and I tend to agree. You got to get back in the mix for what's at stake.
Okay. When we come back, we'll turn our attentions to the latest on Michael Jordan's alleged gambling activities. That's after a message from Prudential and a word from the NBA. Hearing today about a new book which claims that Michael Jordan ran up debts of more than $1 million while gambling on the golf course in 1991. The book's author is Richard Esquinas, a 38-year-old California businessman and former general manager of the San Diego sports arena. Esquinas said the two met in 1989 when Jordan played in a San Diego charity all-star game. He says they struck up a friendship, both 5 to 7 handicap golfers playing for sizable wagers in 1989 and 90. But in 91, Esquinas contends, the stakes escalated dramatically, Jordan losing $1.252 million during an 8-day gambling and golfing binge that saw Michael drop $473,000 in one day and later lose $626,000 on a single 18-hole round when the stakes went to double or nothing. Esquinas claims that this scorecard from June of 1992 is a running tab, Jordan having reduced his debt to $902,000 during the Dream Team training camp last summer in San Diego. Esquinas says that earlier this year, he excused 2/3 of Jordan's debt in exchange for a promise of payment. He offers these 2 checks, drawn at $100,000 each, as the first 2 installments of Jordan's final payment. Esquinas has also supplied us photocopies of 2 earlier checks totaling $75,000 payable to his company, E&S Marketing. The first, he says, is endorsed by David Falk, Jordan's longtime agent. The second, Esquinas claims, was accompanied by a handwritten note from Jordan's wife, Juanita, to Esquinas, his wife, Kerry, and their daughter, Felicity. Now, we made repeated attempts today to speak with Jordan, his agent, David Falk, and his attorney. None were available for comment. At Bulls practice today, Hannah Storm was able to get these reactions.
I think that everybody on this team understands the celebrity status and the focus that he has in his country, and also just the spotlight he creates, and these situations just seem to foment around his activities.
He has to get tired of it. I mean, I get tired of it just being around the situation. So the personal attacks on him, he has to get tired of it.
Richard Esquinas' book is self-published and written with Dave Distel, formerly of the Los Angeles Times. I spoke with Esquinas earlier this evening and asked about the motivation behind the book.
My primary motives of writing this book were threefold. One was to expedite my own recovery. 2 was to reach out and help Michael Jordan. And 3 was to draw attention to the potential dangers of compulsive gambling.
Those sound like lofty goals, but how is this going to help Michael Jordan, especially considering the timing? Couldn't this be disproportionately destructive?
Well, the timing, Bob, unfortunately, we lost control of the project. A lot of people had started touching the project, seeing the book, and as it was becoming manufactured, we knew that there were inquiries being made and a leak was about to happen, so we decided to take control of the situation, control the information, and let it go. If I had taken full advantage of the NBA playoffs and the amount of coverage that it's getting, I would have leaked information or told of the forthcoming book day 1 of the playoffs. So it's unfortunate. It wasn't intended on our part, but we're trying to do the best we can with information that got out.
In your mind, does Michael Jordan have a serious gambling problem?
In my mind, based on what I've seen, Michael Jordan has a serious problem. He's in serious denial, and he needs help, and I hope this book is very pivotal to him getting help.
Is it possible that this is just a guy who loves to play golf, who has a lot of money, obviously, and to make it interesting, wagers large sums, and then thought in a friendly atmosphere that it wasn't really for real, that you were talking about monopoly money? So I owe the guy a few $100,000, then I owe him $1 million. It doesn't matter. It's between friends, and we're just kidding around.
You don't kid around for this kind of money, this kind of wagering, and as Michael was chasing and the debt was increasing to the 1.2 that it ultimately got to, I was very insistent that we stop, and I was very insistent that if we continued that I expected payment, because it was something I really didn't want to go into, but I did, and he did, and he understood the obligation.
Now, according to your book, he at one time owed you something over $1.2 million. He was able to reduce that to $900,000 by beating you a few times. Then you agreed on $300,000, of which he paid $200,000. Why wouldn't Michael Jordan just take $100,000 out of the petty cash drawer, settle the debt, and possibly save himself this kind of public embarrassment?
Right. Well, this was one of my fears. When I ultimately ran up the debt to 1.252, I saw Michael change in terms of the discussions about the settlement. This went on for 18 months where I was trying to settle, trying to get the situation resolved, and that's where I saw the friendship and the interaction and the stress level, the anxiety, the regret, etc. start to settle in. Why he didn't pay, I could never determine if he couldn't pay or wouldn't pay. He never said he couldn't, he never said he wouldn't, he just simply didn't.
How do we know that the $1.2 million figure is correct? Obviously, you have some documentation of some payment passing either from Michael Jordan or his representatives to you, but that only totals a few $100,000. We don't know for sure that $1.2 million was the original debt, since you yourself say that you settled on $300,000.
I guess ultimately it would come down to Michael versus my word, because when you make golf bets, there's no contracts that go back and forth. You simply make the wager and you have the running tabs and the accounts. There is no hard evidence that says that it was 1.252.
If you were to speak to Michael Jordan right now, if he walked into the room where you were sitting, what would you say to him?
Michael, I hope you can read this book and get out of the book, as you see my inward journey through recovery, that you could gain some insight possibly into your problem and get some benefit from pursuing some form of therapy for your gambling addiction.
Again, we want to mention that all attempts to reach Jordan and his representatives for comment today were unsuccessful. I spoke with NBA Commissioner David Stern this evening. He said that for the moment he would have no comment other than to say the league is looking into the entire situation, not just Jordan's gambling, but also the NBA's overall policy regarding non-basketball betting. We'll send things back to Seattle for the second half with the Sonics leading the Suns by 11. We go back to Dick Enberg and Magic Johnson right after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
And we welcome you back to the Seattle Coliseum, where the Sonics enjoy an 11-point lead. Magic Johnson and Marley and Barkley between them scored 17 in the first half. They'd have to score 60 in the second half to equal Game 5. So that part of the Seattle defensive formula is working. What else do you see?
Well, what I see is that they have their inside-outside game working. They're hitting the jump shots. They're also powering the ball inside and getting layups on Seattle's end. Now on Phoenix's end, I see that they're turning the ball over a lot. You can't get up shots when you're turning the ball over. So what they have to do is settle down on their offensive end, get the ball into Charles' hands, let him create shots for himself and for his teammates.
Barkley with only 8 points. Let's look now at the Miller Genuine Draft halftime statistics. First field goal percentage, both teams just under 50%, and Ricky Pierce, who has been the leading scorer throughout the playoffs for Seattle, has 18 big points in the half to lead all scorers. Now the points off turnovers, and that's the Sonics game, and they are a plus 15. Phoenix only 4 points off turnovers, 19 by the Sonics, and Kevin Johnson guilty of 4 of those turnovers. Well, George Karl has to be pleased. He has to win today, and he wants to go back to Phoenix on Saturday. Steve Jones is with him.
All right, George Karl, your team had a terrific run, got up by 15, a few turnovers at the end. Are you concerned about that at all?
Well, I thought the whole first half for us, we played very well at times, but I think we threw away some possessions. And this game's I mean, we don't have another game if we mess around. And I thought we could have been a little more serious about it, but generally I think we're very happy. We've done some good things. But 24 minutes, you know, KJ and Marley and Barkley are going to come at us.
All right, they made one run. They got back in the ball game. What do you tell your team to start the third?
I think we want to stay running and stay inside out. That's basically offensively. Defensively, contain KJ's penetration. I think Sam are switching Barkley. We put Sean on Barkley and have Sam roaming a little bit. Looks pretty good right now.
All right, Dick, back.
That's standing tall in Seattle, up by 11 as we go to the second half. We'll return to the Coliseum, Game 6, right after these words. Ready to go in the second half, and a check of the leading scorers. Kevin Johnson with 9 to match Marley's. Barkley only 8. A big part of the story, they're making Barkley shoot outside in Seattle. Ricky Pierce, who's had some big games in the series, off a 27-point performance in Game 5, leads with 18, and Sean Kemp done much more than that 12 points would indicate.
But what the fans must remember, when Seattle shoots over 45%, they usually win in the playoffs, and right now they have 49, so let's see if they can continue their hot shooting.
Ready to go. Phoenix with the ball first. It's Marley, Kevin Johnson. Cedric Sabalas, who did not play the entire first half, starts the second half with Oliver Miller and Barkley. An interesting choice by Paul Westphal, this lineup, and Sabalas immediately pays a dividend. 61-52 Seattle.
Well, I I'm sorry. I think that Paul Westphal wants some energy too, and Cedric Sabalas give him energy, just like Sean Kemp gave Seattle some energy in the first half.
Same five that started for Seattle, and that one was partially blocked by Barkley and goes out of bounds to Seattle. Barkley's arguing he didn't touch it. Well, if he didn't touch it, then he must have fouled him because something happened.
Yeah, that was a great lob pass there from Dan Marley to Cedric Sabalas, but it was an even better pick by Charles Barkley to free up Cedric Sabalas.
5 seconds on the shot clock, and now Pierce going to have to hurry with 3. Over Marley. Misses everything, and the buzzer. 24-second violation, and here come the Suns. The Suns, just in that last minute after Seattle had run off a 15-point lead, were really heating up, and you could just sense the momentum switching, and the halftime came at the right time for Seattle.
Yeah, because if Danny Ainge had hit that three-pointer, that last second shot, maybe they go in with their feeling good in terms of Phoenix. But right now, they have to now just execute on their offensive end. They haven't been doing a good job like they did back in Phoenix in Game 5. So they have to now get into their half-court offense and get a shot up.
Game clock is the problem. Just a few seconds of trying to figure out what should be added or subtracted. And that's been done. 11:19 left in the third. Good defense by Payton, and they inbound to Kevin Johnson. And Marley with 3 fouls for Phoenix. West on the bench to start that. Sabalas takes it to the iron and draws the foul. And Phoenix has not had many opportunities. They've averaged 30 free throws a game throughout the playoffs. This will be only the 8th attempt.
Okay, we're going to go to this telestrator. And here's 2 men guarding 1 man in Kevin Johnson. You cannot let him get around the containment, because if he does, good things like that are going to happen. So when you got the double team, you must keep him in that little box that you form and not let him out of there. And when he can penetrate, that being Kevin Johnson, he's going to make good things happen for Phoenix.
And he forced Kemp to foul Sabalas, who in the first minute of this third quarter trying to rack up 4 quick points. He led the league in field goal percentage during the regular season, over 57%. So the first 4 points scored by Sabalas, and that whittles the lead to 7. Barkley on Perkins, 2 wise veterans. Pierce takes it inside, and the foul will go against Pierce.
Well, he cleared the man out. It was excellent positions, and he cleared him out with his offhand. Here it is right here, dribble drive here. Now watch, Oliver Miller comes contesting. He knocks his arm away from causing a block shot. So good call by the referee.
You never did that with your offhand, did you?
No, because I usually try to get a 1 step closer, or my shot was going to get blocked.
Sabalas misses. Payton with a fake on Sabalas. Gary Payton with 6. First points for Seattle in the half.
See, it's better, Dick, when you being a driver, you should take 1 more dribble and then take off. Or take the block shot, because you don't want the foul. Try to shoot it up over the man. There's a double team again by Seattle.
Johnson gets it inside to Miller. No foul. Blocked on by Perkins, and at the other end, Payton unable to connect, and there's a foul on Kevin Johnson, his first.
Well, again, on that other end of the play, Oliver Miller was being contested, and he didn't have a layup he thought he was going to have. Then Payton got out fast for Seattle and went down and caused. He got the contact and caused the foul. See, one thing a young player has to understand, when he gets that close to the basket, he can't go to lay it up, especially when you got shot blockers like Seattle has. What you got to do is go in there to dunk it, to create some contact, cause some contact, and go lay it up. And I thought last night in that Knicks game that's what happened to Smith. He didn't go up to cause contact. That's why he missed the layup.
It's Payton again defensively causing troubles for Phoenix. Marley will inbound the ball. Payton, who shot over 1,000 shots a day during the summer to improve his offensive game. He's always been a terrific defensive player.
Well, he said he worked a lot with George Gervin, and he worked a lot with Jason Kidd and some of the other guys in the Bay Area in Oakland to get his shot down.
Marley way off the mark. The long pass to Pierce, back to Payton. Pierce unable to score. Miller was there defensively. Johnson goes the distance. Sabalas tips it in.
See, that's what Cedric Sabalas gives Phoenix. A guy who's going to always follow up shots. Oh, beautiful move by Payton.
Payton, who made the shot of the game in Game 5, a blind backhander underneath. Well, there was a beauty there.
Well, in the last 2 games, he's been more offensive-minded and more aggressive on the offensive end.
Payton got a piece of him, and Miller scores.
Here's 2 young players making great baskets for their team. Kevin Johnson goes all the way. Cedric Sabalas comes out of nowhere with a beautiful tip. And then here comes Gary Payton. Right back after that, he said, okay, Cedric, if you can do this, I can do that. Right here, lays it up, backhanded. Beautiful move.
Miller completes the three-point play, and it's 67-59. Seattle by 8 early in the second half.
Now Seattle has, Phoenix has not slowed this crazy game down so far. Seattle is still in that crazy game, still in that wild game, and if it continues like this, Phoenix cannot beat them with this game being like it is.
Sean Kemp beating the clock. 2 seconds on the shot clock when he drilled that line drive. 10-point lead.
And you normally don't see Sean Kemp shooting from the outside. He'd rather be inside shooting.
KJ at the other end for Phoenix has the answer, and 11 points for Johnson.
They just keep going back and forth. Sooner or later, one team's going to have to make a defensive stand and try to get a run going.
Payton from the side. He seems to shoot better from the side than he does straight out.
Yeah, and he's feeling it right now. He's feeling good. You saw after he shot that one, he stopped hopping in the air, jumping in the air. Good block by Sean Kemp.
And it goes back to Sabalas, and Sabalas turned an ankle and waves to the bench. He has 8 points. At the other end, Ricky Pierce, the veteran, showing his hustle.
Well, what they're doing is they're beating them right now. Well, we'll stay tuned right here to Cedric Sabalas because he's hurt right now. And here where he got hurt there, I don't know what happened.
Substitution.
Whether he rolled it over or somebody came down on his ankle. And you know what? It's too bad for Phoenix too because he had gave them the energy we were talking about. He
had a bad ankle earlier in the year, that stress reaction, and I wonder if that might be a re-injury. He obviously in pain and asked immediately to be taken out.
Well, you hope it's not serious for the young man because he's a good guy and a good player for Phoenix. But now let's give Seattle what they're doing now is that they're beating Phoenix down the court. The last couple of baskets, this one by Ricky Pierce on the three-point play, the other 2 by Gary Payton. They're just beating them down the court, and Phoenix is not getting back in transition.
11-point lead for Seattle to match their halftime advantage. Good defense again. Finally, Barkley touches the ball. Kemp on him. Good pass by Barkley, and Miller is fouled.
But a rookie mistake, though. He should have shot the ball. He didn't shoot it. He should have shot the ball up, and he had 2 free throws. Now watch it right here. He gets fouled. Now you shoot it. Oh, Oliver, you got to shoot that ball.
He heard you. He heard you, Magic. And another foul. This one, I believe, on Kemp. It would be his 3rd. So Payton has 3 and Kemp now with 3.
Well, you almost now have to make a switch and take Sean Kemp off of Charles Barkley. He has 3 fouls. You don't want to lose him because he's been playing an excellent game. So maybe they should switch, and they don't right now. So maybe he'll get some help.
Well, same play into Barkley, and then he feeds Miller for the jam.
But see, you can't go from the baseline. They have baseline rotation, and the guard was supposed to peel back, and he didn't do that.
With 13 points. seconds on the clock. They don't get it off. Pierce unable to get it off before the 24-second buzzer.
Well, here's the last play. You got Charles Barkley here posting up. Now the help is going to come from the blind side, but nobody rotated to that man. There's Charles. Here comes the help. There's Oliver Miller wide open. Somebody must rotate to him.
Timeout with 6:53 remaining in the third. Steve Jones is back in the locker room checking on the injury to Sabalas.
Here's Cedric Sabalas right here. Now let's see what happens here if he can. He goes up. Only thing I can see here is that maybe Sean Kemp bumped knees with him or something. So hopefully it's not an ankle injury. Maybe it's just knee on knee. But we'll wait for a report from Steve Jones.
6:48 to go in the third quarter. The Sonics by 9. They've led by as much as 15. Phoenix's biggest lead, 4. Barkley with Perkins, illegal defense called against the Sonics. That'll be another technical shot against George Karl.
Okay, here's Gary Payton right here. Now, once the ball goes into Charles Barkley, let's see where KJ goes. See, Gary Payton is too low. He's got to get up higher. He has to be up higher because KJ is right here. And that's why they call it the illegal defense. He didn't go down and double team Charles Barkley all the way, and he was caught in the middle like a lot of players are caught in the middle when they get the illegal defense called against them.
That's the zone, playing two men, playing a zone instead of the man.
Exactly.
Good job. That magic pad. Good job on that, Urban. Barkley inside. 74-67.
Now that's the first time Seattle did not double team Charles Barkley, and Charles Barkley was free to go one-on-one.
Danny Ainge made the free throw on the technical. It's a 6-point game. McKee, good move. Payton almost stripped by Ainge. Farley with a rebound. And suddenly it's Phoenix who just feel them building here in this third quarter. And Barkley setting up Miller, and Miller fouled by McKee.
We'll see what happens is. Before, they were double teaming Charles Barkley. This time they decided not to double team him, and he's go one-on-one with Sean Kemp. And you know what happens when he gets to go one-on-one? It's a deuce. Now he came right back with getting the rebound. Remember, he told us yesterday he likes to get the rebound and bring it down himself. Full court, he did that. He kicked it off to big Oliver Miller for a chance for two, but he got fouled. Now, if I'm Seattle, I'm kind of worried because I've been playing good basketball as a team, and right now they're letting Phoenix get back into this game. So maybe some of that momentum now is switching to the Phoenix Suns.
Miller 1 out of 2 to get 14 points now in the game, leading Phoenix in scoring and cutting the Seattle lead to 5. Out to challenge Kemp. 2 on the clock. Big basket by Sean Kemp. He just beat the buzzer. 16 now for him.
Even though he did that, Dick.
Kemp dives in and takes it away from Barkley. Oh my! Fans love that. And McKee grabbed on the arm. Danny Ainge has his second foul.
What a defensive steal by Sean Kemp. Charles Barkley is getting ready to go one-on-one, and he just dove in there and stole the ball. And here it is again. Watch his quick hands. He's going to dive in there and steal it. Good defense by Sean Kemp.
Boy, that is really a gamble here. If Barkley moves the other way, then Kemp's embarrassed. But what a play. And that's Oliver Miller fronting Kemp at the other end. 76-69 Seattle. KJ. No foul on Perkins, and he takes it away. Payton gets it back. Blocked by Miller. Perkins. 78-69 Seattle. 12 for Perkins.
Well, you know what? Danny Ainge is upset. Marley was upset because Charles Barkley and KJ KJ never crossed half court, and maybe they would have had a chance to have that rebound if those guys had came back and helped them out.
Derek McKee fouls his third.
Well, here's Gary Payton going to the hole. He misses the basket. Now he comes right back and battles for it. Now where's Child? Where's KJ for the help? Sam Perkins is right there to lay it in.
Marley has his 10th point. Only his 4th since the first quarter, as you see Tom Chambers in for Oliver Miller. Miller, some quality minutes for Phoenix again tonight. Two. It remains an 8-point lead. Sonics. 4 minutes plus left in this third quarter. Seattle's led almost the entire game. McKee inside with his out hook, and Kevin Johnson pulls it down. Tom Chambers makes it look easy, and Chambers, who is a skilled veteran, in fact, in the playoffs, 78 games prior to these, averaging 19 a game.
But you can't let him shoot on the set shot. If he shoots a set shot, usually it's going to go in. You got to make Tom Chambers put the ball on the court and drive.
Derek McKee, 6-year veteran from Alabama, has his 10th. At times, the Suns' own worst enemy. 13 turnovers now committed by Paul Westfall's Suns.
Now, if I'm Seattle, I want to come down and maybe go to my inside players because you got Marley on McKee, you got Tom Chambers guarding Sam Perkins, so I will go at one of those two guys.
Seattle's frontline starters have outscored Phoenix 38-14. Part of that because Barkley's having a rare game where now the illegal defense call against Phoenix. That's just the warning.
Has been called against the Phoenix Suns. Their first offense for a warning.
Well, he's having a rare game, Dick, because Seattle is switching their defenses up against Charles Barkley. Sometimes they double team him. Sometimes they don't. They're really mixing it up well defensively.
Frank Johnson in for Kevin Johnson for Phoenix. And a foul crashing. No, that goes against Seattle's Sean Kemp, an illegal block, and that's his 4th foul.
Oh, man, at a bad time if you're Seattle. This is a bad foul for Sean Kemp because now he has 4. He's been the guy setting the tone for the defense and the offense. Now he must sit down, and a guy like Michael Cage is getting ready to come in, but he can't give him the scoring output or that energy that Sean Kemp has given this team.
That goes right to Kemp, and Frank Johnson left alone. And the veteran who played the last 3 years in Italy thought his NBA career was over until the injury by Kevin Johnson early in the season, and he produces off the bench. And now with a steal, Frank Johnson. Barkley to the hole. Barkley blocked by Perkins. Boy, what a scramble. Barkley, 4th attempt, doesn't score. That was remindful of last night at the Garden in New York. Now a foul in the backcourt on Chambers.
Man, what a skirmish inside. Charles Barkley had at least 3 or 4 opportunities. We're going to take a look right here. That's one. One time up. 2 times up. He's contested every time, though. And here comes Sean. That was a foul right there. They didn't call it. And then Sean Kemp said, you didn't call the first one. You got to call the second one.
Locker room with Dr. Richard Emerson and the nature of the Cedric Ceballos injury.
Cedric has aggravated the injury that we've been following in his left foot. It's the 5th metatarsal. It's the bone on the outside of the foot. It's a known injury that he's had. It's one that we've been working with and hoping we can get him through the playoffs. It will need to be, first of all, he won't return tonight, and then when we get back, we'll get some more tests and x-rays and compare it with our previous tests, and then we'll be able to determine where we are at this point in the rest of the season for him.
All right, thank you, Doctor. Back to you, Dick and Bert.
So apparently Savalas will not return. He scored 8 quick points at the start of the second half. That is that old foot injury that bothered him earlier in this season. 80-74. Seattle by a half dozen. Final 2 minutes in the third quarter. McKee against Marley. Into McKee. Good defense by Phoenix, really swarming.
Yeah, but Seattle showed great patience that time on their offensive end. Even though they didn't score, they still got a good shot that time.
That's Barkley around Cage. Blocked by Cage and a foul.
You almost knew that this was going to happen. He felt he got fouled the last possession before the timeout. And this time you knew he was going to take it to the basket and get fouled. This is the last time down. He just felt he got fouled. Nobody called it. Now after that he said, okay, you didn't call it. There's one. Boom. Where's the other one, Charles? Boom again. But Charles, you forgot. It's 3 referees. He only shot 2 of them.
Now that's the side of Barkley that I don't like. I mean, there's so much to like about the man, but that's the part that you wish he would mature. He's lucky he didn't get a second technical and out of the game. In fact, he applauded heartily after the foul this time down. In the regular season, he might have been gone. He's pressing his luck.
I think because they know it's Charles, they're going to let him get away with it. But right now, he has to worry about getting his team in this. They're already in the game, but keeping them in the game and not really worry about the referees, because if you're trying to worry about the referees, you see him motioning to the crowd. They're hollering Barkley, whatever, and he's just telling them, come on with it. But he must keep his head in this game in order for Phoenix to win it.
Barkley's 11th point, and it pulls Phoenix within 5. In many ways, this game, much like Game 5, where Seattle is always there, and Phoenix doesn't go away. Derek McKee with a dozen.
Nice play by Nate McMillan and Derek McKee together. They caught him trying to switch. Derek McKee sliced through the lane and a bullet pass from Nate McMillan for 2.
Barkley wants the ball. He is fouled.
Well, here, what's going to happen is Derek McKee is going to set a pick, and Dan Marley helped out, and Derek McKee sliced backdoor for the 2. Good read by Nate McMillan. See the picker right there? Slice through for Derek McKee and 2. Now, what's got to happen on Phoenix, Seattle's defensive side on Barkley? He's trying to take it to the basket now. Maybe they have to go and double team him now because he's looking to take it to the basket.
The crowd couldn't be happier than finding Barkley missing, and Frank Johnson comes over, gives him a little pugilistic tug on the chin. Barkley relaxing. He loves boxing. He said, I could watch it 24 hours a day, and loves Foreman and Ali, Tyson's toughness.
He said he'd like to be a combination of both of them, Ali and Mike Tyson.
But he gets KO'd on that free throw try. Missing both, and it remains a 7-point Seattle advantage coming down to the final minute of the third. Oh, McKee!
Oh, what a move by Derek McKee. He saw the double team coming from the middle. He spun baseline and slammed dunk.
Barkley from outside over Cage. Perkins rebounds. 44 seconds to go in the quarter.
The only problem with that, they ran it 3 plays through Barkley. Everybody else is standing around for the Phoenix Suns. They must get some movement.
McKee, great pass. Michael Cage, and suddenly the lead of 5 has grown to 11.
See the difference there where when Derek McKee posted, he got movement from his teammates, and he caught one cut through. He passed it to him. Charles Barkley on the other end, they're not getting any movement when he has the ball. Steal by Eddie Johnson.
Johnson pulls up. That was a 1-on-3, and then McMillan makes a steal. McMillan. At the end of the quarter, with these Seattle fans on their feet, Sonics 86,
The Suns 75, and we'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station.
Okay, right here we got Charles Barkley with the ball. You got all the Phoenix players just standing around. Nobody's cut to the basket. Now on the other side of that, the difference is when Derek McKee posted up, he got cutters. Right here is Derek. He's going to have people cutting to the basket, and then he's going to hit Michael Cage for the layup. And that's the difference between this game. Phoenix is standing around on offense. Seattle is cutting, making backdoor cuts, and getting layups.
I was worried that you wouldn't have anything left if there is a Game 7, but you're not going to be with us on Saturday if that's the case. Derek McKee opens the fourth quarter, and the Seattle lead builds to 13.
Another post up. Derek McKee on the smaller man. He went right up over him for 2 points.
Tom Chambers is short. Michael Cage with the rebound.
And all the Phoenix players keep looking at the referee. They must forget the referees and just play basketball because they're not getting that call. They must forget about it.
Perkins for three. And that gives the Sonics their biggest lead, 16.
What did I tell you? You hit one, then you might hit two, then you might hit three. And that's what happened for Sam Perkins. He's been in a slump, but he came right back with 3 in a row. There was KJ on the drive.
Millen at the other end. Rebound Mark West. West is saddled with 3 early fouls in the first half, returning to the Phoenix lineup. Interestingly, Barkley opens the fourth quarter on the bench. Ainge misses almost everything.
You see, they got to put the ball in Kevin Johnson's hand. If you're Phoenix, you got to run pick and roll. You got to run 1-4. Let him penetrate. Let him create for a shot for himself or somebody else.
Nate McMillan trying the three, and Johnson rebounds. Here comes KJ. Likes to go the distance. Marley blocked by Perkins.
Boy, they are really attacking.
Oops, watch out. Ainge and Michael Cage get into it. And Marley comes in to help out. And George Karl out on the floor, and he shouldn't be there. Paul Westphal is restraining Barkley at the other end of the court. Oh, that got almost too serious.
Yeah, it did. And right now, this is the first real skirmish or real. Michael Cage threw a punch too, so it could be a suspension. First of all, he could get kicked out of the game and also suspended for
if there's a Game 7.
Yeah, if it's a Game 7. So let's see what's going to happen here, what the referee's going to decide.
They're going to sort it out.
Well, one good thing about it is Daryl Garrison, who is the head of all the officials, is here. So
technical foul on Cage and on Ainge. No one has been thrown out yet. There's Ainge, and then Cage pushes Ainge away. Another push. No punch thrown. There were some pushes, and Ainge just trying to rip himself free. I believe Cage had him by the jersey.
Well, I'm just happy for both sides that it wasn't any punches thrown. You don't want to see that happening. And maybe both of these teams are showing a little of the East now. They're not in the West, we're in the East.
Ainge also got a foul. He was the one who initiated the action, his third. So 91-77 Seattle. Things heating up here at the Coliseum in Game 6 of Seattle in a must situation. Well, look at Ainge right up on Eddie Johnson.
Perkins takes it to the hole, and he's fouled by Mark West. That'll be 4 on West, and we have a timeout with 9:52 to go.
West is fourth.
Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
This Miller moment takes us back to the 1979 season. Seattle, led by coach Lenny Wilkins. Dennis Johnson passing to Gus Williams. And downtown, Freddie Brown. Every neighborhood was his. The Sonics squeezed past Phoenix in 7 games in the Western Finals, then stopped Washington in 5 for Seattle's only NBA championship. In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft donates $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. The 3 retired jerseys, Coach Wilkins, Brown, and Sikma, all part of that 79 championship. Numbers hanging in the rafters.
Yeah, I knew about that team because we ran into that team my first year. That was a great team.
79 was when your Michigan State team won the National Collegiate Championship. Marley flipping it back in, but right to Cage.
And then the next year we end up playing them for the Western Conference Final my rookie season. That Seattle great team.
Barkley is back in the game. Seattle's on an 11-2 run, and that's going to be on Barkley. And he is right at the breaking point.
34, Charles Barkley is second.
Well, here's Derek McKee posted him up, and Charles grabbed his arm and threw it down. He throws it away again, and you can't do that.
Second on Barkley. 9:15 left. Seattle in the driver's seat with a 14-point lead. And if it goes Game 7, it's Saturday afternoon. 12 o'clock Western time, 3 o'clock Eastern time. McKee. Cage with 5. They'll give him that shot, and he hits it. Not an outside shooter, but Cage has 6.
Well, everything is working well for Seattle. They've been aggressive from the beginning. They've continued that throughout the game. They're really playing their game.
Kevin Johnson drains a 17-footer. He leads Phoenix with 15.
Now, see, because of the fact that Phoenix is not a team that forces turnover or that pressures, it's going to be tough for them to come back.
Johnson on the long feed from Barkley can't hit and can't rebounds. Barkley and West never got past the free throw line at the other end.
And there was Kevin Johnson again arguing about a call. He won a foul call.
Sean Kemp walking on air as he hits that 5-footer. 18 points and 12 rebounds for Kemp. Another sterling game. Marley, boy, they're pressuring and he finds the 3-point range, but can't hit. Cage rebounds. Barkley seems dismayed and discouraged.
Yeah, it's like that fourth quarter of Game 4. Here's Sean Kemp. You know, he's now gaining the respect of everybody in the whole country because they don't see a beautiful basketball player like him often. And now he's on national TV, and he's taking advantage of it.
Hand for Derek McKee, who goes out with 16 points. Pierce back in for the Sonics. And a foul out on the court against Nate McMillan, his 3rd. George Karl greeted us with one of his lucky hats, his North Carolina Tar Heel hat. He says his Seattle Mariner hat is the other. He has over 500 caps, but the one that he really wants is one to match his CBA championship when he was in Albany. He wants and thinks that if they go to Game 7, his club really is ready to take this from Phoenix. He's very confident in their chances to win again in Phoenix. Ames from long point, 3-point range, and then Pierce loses it out of bounds but touched by KJ.
Well, what George Karl said to us was that his team plays very well in Phoenix. They like that court, they shoot well there, they play well there. So he's hoping that he can force a Game 7 because there have been some close games and he feels that maybe they have a chance to win in Phoenix.
7 minutes, 15 seconds to go, and it's Pierce inside. Pierce again.
Look at Seattle. They continue to attack. They're aggressive. That time, Ricky Pierce shot the ball. Sean Kemp tipped it up. Ricky Pierce They're making the second and third effort.
Johnson in the scramble, and then Ames is fouled by McMillan. But with 7 minutes to go, Seattle has its biggest lead, 18.
Well, the reason they got an 18-point lead is right here. Knocked away from Ricky Pierce. There's Kemp. Battling there, Ricky Pierce gets it back and puts it in. They love it. They love this game like this, the crazy game.
Final few minutes of sunlight in Seattle, and the sun's going down in the Coliseum by 18 as we look ahead. Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 in the West. Game 6, and it's the Knicks now that must win in Chicago to force a decisive Game 7 against Jordan and company. We'll be in Phoenix Saturday if there's a Game 7. That'll be at 3 Eastern time. And then if there's a Game 7, that in prime time Sunday night at 7 Eastern, 4 in the West. Here on NBC. Hey, Cortez Kennedy, the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year, adding his 310 pounds to the sonic noise. Kevin Johnson hits one from right on the line, and Johnson, the top scorer for Phoenix, was 17.
Well, see, the problem with Phoenix is now they're going to have to start forcing turnovers. Now, during the regular season, I think they finished like 13, right in the middle of the pack, and they're not a team that forces turnover or denial or pressure, so it's going to be tough for them to come back.
5 on the shot clock. Sean Kemp. Boy, Kemp has shown his total offensive package tonight.
Like I said, it's great for the fans around the country to get to see Sean Kemp because we knew he was a great basketball player, but other fans around the country does not know that. Did not know that until now.
Kemp and McMillan in their effort to deny.
There's a jumper again by Sean Kemp. He's hit like 3 at the buzzer as the shot clock is winding down. He's hit like 3 shots tonight.
Free throw line number 7.
Yep, we asked him about it. 23. Are you mature enough to take on the leadership of this team? That's what everyone said. He says, you bet. He said, I've been listening, and the X-Man. He said, I learned some things from the X-Man how to handle myself down in that locker room. Kevin Johnson continues to score for Phoenix, but they're not getting much else. And Charles Barkley has only 11 points off his 43 in Game 5.
Well, this has just been Seattle's game. And now you got 6 minutes to go. What Phoenix must try to do is get this game within 10 points in about 3 minutes.
They'll start trapping more, taking chances defensively. Payton forces the shot. It's taken away by Frank Johnson to Kevin Johnson. Kevin scores, and he is fouled by Ricky Pierce. So KJ turning up the burners.
On a beautiful move. You know, it's tough to guard him in the open court when he has the ball because he has so many weapons that he can use. Right there, he just goes to his left hand. He just blows right past the defender for 2 points. Beautiful move by KJ. And he has the presence of mind to shoot the ball with his left hand. Keep it away from the defender.
KJ has all Phoenix's points in the fourth quarter, and now 22 on the game.
Well, you see, Phoenix has gone to a full court trap type game. They're going to try to get some turnovers. Oh, they got
another one. There's a charge. So the Sonics, this has been part of their pattern with big leads. George Karl says, I don't know why, but they suddenly start playing differently. It's that helter-skelter.
Well, see, you don't need to be helter-skelter right now. What you need is good shots.
McMillan with a steal, and last touch by Ricky Pierce.
See, if I'm Seattle, I want to just break that press and then set my offense up because they've been getting good things in their half-court offense. Now, if I'm Phoenix on the other end, they want to gamble. They want to pick up full court because they want to get some turnovers. Make Seattle maybe shoot a shot quicker than they want to, and then get out on the break.
Well, without Derek McKee, Phoenix made up 6 points, so George Karl gets McKee back in there. He's tough on the defensive end. Eddie Johnson out. 5.5 minutes to go. 13-point lead. Barkley can't tip it in. Kemp was fouled
A.J., and he couldn't finish it.
Check that. Kevin Johnson is ticketed with his second foul. Well, this is the 100th game for the Seattle SuperSonics. Their season began, regular season, in Japan. Peyton and Michael Cage, Eddie Johnson have played in all 100 games. Oh, a little screen, and no one picks up McMillan on the drive. He has 6.
Remember, we told you that was the difference in Seattle's offense compared to Phoenix's offense. See, they just stand around. Phoenix has been standing around where Seattle, when they pass in the post, they usually cut.
Marley calling for the ball after missing the tray, but Barkley says, I'll handle this, and he's fouled. Kemp's 5th foul.
But Seattle's been doing this all evening. They've been going to the post and cutting to the basket. McKee finds Nate McMillan on the back door. And like I said, that's been the difference between the two teams. When Charles Barkley has it, everybody stands.
That's a big foul on Kemp with 4:49 to go. And Seattle by 15. Seattle, Washington with a reminder tonight following your late local news. Don't miss The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, Late Night with David Letterman, and later with Bob Costas, all tonight following our game on NBC. Well, the mighty duo for Phoenix of Barkley and Marley combined with only 21 points tonight, only 4 points scored in the second half, and Marley's 1 for 3 from three-point range.
Well, he's not getting those open looks because Dan Marley's man is not double-teaming Charles Barkley tonight. They made an adjustment. George Karl made an adjustment, and it was a good adjustment for the Seattle SuperSonics.
See the sign brick there, and Barkley's thrown up some. 3 out of 6 from the line prior to that free throw. Only his 12th point. But there's time for Phoenix.
Yeah, there's time, but it's tough for them because of the fact that they're not a quick team. They're not a pressure team. And if you're not a pressure team and a quick team, you can't cause turnovers.
Break the press, and now Seattle will try to chew up some clock. Frank Johnson hits the side of the board and a foul. And Frank Johnson and Ricky Pierce disagree.
Well, what's happened is Ricky Pierce pump faked him in the air, and Frank Johnson went by and kicked him in the face. And so I don't know if he was mad, if Ricky Pierce felt that he kicked him in the face on purpose, or if he just something they had going on before that. Here's the pump fake here by Ricky Pierce. See, ooh, right in the mouth. Frank Johnson kicked him right there. And Pierce got upset. Oh, man. Glad he didn't get any of his teeth knocked out, that being Ricky Pierce.
I don't think there's any intent there.
No. I don't think so either. I think he maybe said something to Ricky Pierce may have said something to Frank, and he might have got a little close.
Pierce looking for his 24th point. He's been perfect again from the line, 7 for 7. And he just is automatic. His charity is over 90% on the season. And actually 89% to be accurate. 103-88. Frank Johnson pumps up a three-pointer. And Pierce rebounds. Wisely takes it out.
Yes. What they want to do is use up clock, get a good shot down every possession.
Barkley rejects Peyton, but a foul on Barkley. His third.
Now what Paul Westphal must do now, he must say, okay, this game is out of hand. I can't win it. Maybe that same thing he did last game in Game 4, take the guys out, make them understand that, hey, we lost this game, make them get mad again, make them get upset, and maybe it'll work for Game 7.
Well, then comes Richard Dumas and Oliver Miller. Dumas hasn't played since 5 minutes of the first quarter, and Kevin Johnson and Charles Barkley go out. exactly what you're talking about there.
Yeah, Paul Westphal wants to get them upset. He wants them to be mad. He wants them to be angry. Same thing he did in Game 4 that worked for him in Game 5. Hopefully he feels that it'll work for him in Game 7.
With 4 minutes left, it's fairly early, isn't it?
No, because they're not going to win this game. Like I said, they're not a team that can pressure you, cause turnovers, cause mistakes.
McMillan has fouled out. That was his 6th foul, and Barkley takes his favorite spot way down at the end of the Phoenix bench.
Now, on the other end of this, Seattle's coach George Karl must say, when do I take Shawn Kemp out? Because I want this crowd to appreciate what he has done tonight. Give him a standing ovation. Get him pumped up for Game 7, as well as Derek McKee and Ricky Pierce. So he must make a decision as well.
Magic, you talk more like a coach every game.
Well, see, I've been in these situations too many times before, and I know the psyche of how the coaches want to now get ready for the next game.
The lead down to 14 with exactly 4 minutes to go. Frank Johnson looking for his 4th point. 103-90. Forced the turnover as Payton dribbles off his knee.
But he over-dribbled. That's why. He should have passed. Once he sees a double team coming at him, he got to get rid of the ball.
Ames and Marley and Frank Johnson, all three-point shooters on the floor. And Ames takes a three. Misses everything. Out to Payton. Knocked away. Johnson can't save. Suns are 0 for their last 9 shots.
Okay, 13-point lead now right here.
They're 3-point shots. Hey, just waiting for the soda fountain to open up and get a little chocolate soda, maybe a malt tonight.
But he may look relaxed, but he's a happy man right now. He called it out. He said he wanted the same game as he had in Game 5. If he got that here at home, he knew that this SuperSonics would win, and sure enough, they're on the verge of doing that unless something drastic happens here.
Pierce, Marley rebounds. Marley he's been as cold in the second half tonight as he was hot the whole game in Phoenix. Danny Ainge with a foul. His 4th.
Well, see, Dan Marley has not gotten the same looks as he had in Game 5, and that's the difference. See, when you get a wide open look and you start knocking maybe 1 or 2 down, that's when you feel that you can hit anything. That's why he kept on hitting them in Game 5. Now, in this game, he's had a couple 3-pointers. The first one, nobody guarded him, and he knocked it down. But these last couple, he's had a man running at him in his face, and he couldn't knock him down.
Seattle fans must be saying, hey, Marley, why didn't you just miss one of those in Phoenix 2 nights ago? Because had you, Seattle might be playing for the finals tonight.
You're not going to miss what you get in the zone. You feel it in your mind, and you feel like you can't miss, and that's what happened.
Marley using the left hand, fights to get the ball back. Oh, he goes down hard. And so does the Sonics' Sam Perkins. Perkins holding his head.
See, this is the reason why I say you gotta take Shawn Kemp out. You gotta take Derek McKee out. You gotta take the guys out because you don't want them to get hurt. You want to save them for Game 7. You pretty much got the game. You got a 15-point lead with 3 minutes to go. Now let the fans appreciate the guys. Let them go crazy and send them on to Game 7. Because anybody can get hurt right now.
You get any louder, and Carl will be able to hear you all the way across there. He won't need any help.
Well, see, Paul Westphal smart. Took those guys out, getting them mad, getting them angry. Now it's George Karl's turn to take his guys out.
Marley has scored only 1 point in the second half, 10 in the game. 105-91.
But in George Karl's defense, maybe he's thinking maybe a 13 or 14-point lead is not enough against Phoenix. So maybe that's his thinking.
That's how I would feel.
Yeah, probably that's what he's thinking. We're only up still 13, so okay, I can understand that. So I'm right with you, George Carl.
Especially with the propensity for Phoenix to hit. So, they hit a couple of threes in a row, and suddenly it's a scary situation for Seattle. Frank Johnson with a body and leg gets his second foul.
But he wants this crowd to appreciate Sean Kemp and Derek McKee's effort. You know that in his heart and his mind, he wants them to get sent off in a big way because they're gonna need everything they got for Game 7 in terms of this crowd giving them an emotional lift, because once Phoenix gets back into the America West arena, that crowd is gonna go crazy. It's gonna lift that team up.
Game 6, will be Saturday Game 7 will be in Phoenix if this continues as it obviously is. 3 o'clock Eastern time on Saturday. Johnson not there. Kemp with another rebound. He's been cleaning the boards, 14 in the game. And if there's a Game 7 in the Chicago-New York series, that's Sunday at 7 o'clock Eastern. You'll see Game 6 tomorrow. Kemp gets it out to Perkins with 10 seconds.
They're still hustling. Sean Kemp still went to the floor even though they're up.
Gary Payton takes it inside. He has 16. He had 20 in Game 5. 5 Sonics in double figures. The 5 starters. Carl leads the cheers with a timeout.
And Sean Kemp is still hustling. He dives on the floor, makes the play, kicks it back out. Boy, this Seattle crowd is just going crazy.
2:21 left. The Bulls will try to close out the Knicks tomorrow night, Game 6 in Chicago. And it appears now we will have a battle, Game 7 for the Western Championship. Seattle, Phoenix, 3 o'clock Eastern time. You won't be with us on Saturday. Urban Johnson III celebrates his first birthday. I saw you practicing all your moves with the camera today.
Yeah, it'll be his first birthday. And Cookie said, I can't work, so I got to go home and be with my son. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Steve Jones will be with us and Tom Hammond in Phoenix on Saturday. Jared Mustaf into the game for the first time. Rebound by Barris. 2 minutes ago.
See, I like this move by George Karl. He did not take Sean Kemp out right then at the timeout because he wants this crowd to go crazy and take him when they're going to foul right here. Good move by George Karl. He wants the crowd to appreciate Sam Perkins, Sean Kemp, and Ricky Pierce.
Gary Payton, they all come out to a standing ovation. Frontline scoring tonight. Seattle starters outscored Phoenix and Charles Barkley 51-17. Kemp with 20, McKee 16, Perkins 15. Barkley had 13, Dumas and West 2 each.
That was the difference in the game. That was nice what happened because Dan Marley and Charles Barkley got the same ovation in Phoenix. And it was nice that those 3 guys got the ovation too as well here in Seattle.
Seattle started the playoffs. They had to win 2 must games against Utah, won it in 5. They won in overtime in 7 against Houston. Sam Perkins adds a little frosting, even broke into a little smile.
Well, he's hit 4 straight. And I know George Karl is hoping that's going to carry over to Game 7. Man, it's going to be something in Game 7. I hate that I'm going to miss it. I love that my son's birthday is coming around, but I hate that I'm going to miss this Game 7.
Well, you can watch too, 1:14 to go, and garbage time as Perkins comes up to throw a body check on Frank Johnson, which reminds us tonight, Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Montreal defeated the Kings 3-2 in overtime. They're even at a game apiece. There's a little cross-check there. That might have cost Perkins 2 minutes in the other game.
Yeah, well, they've been aggressive and physical all night long, and they're going to continue it to the end of the game. And here it is right here. Perkins just comes out. He really, what he was trying to do was come up for a steal. And Frank Johnson put his body in front of, between him and Sam Perkins and the ball.
Michael Cage replaces Sam Perkins.
You know, I'm sitting here, I'm so excited for a Game 7, and I won't be a part of it. Oh, man, you know, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it because it's going to be a great game.
Well, if it matches Game 5 and all the drama of Thursday night, we'll have something special, or Tuesday night on Saturday. Steve Scheffler unable to hit.
And he's a crowd favorite here. They want him to score.
Johnson scores.
Greg Johnson.
Well, this crowd almost to the man and woman waiting to the final buzzer to celebrate this game, hoping that they'll get a chance to cheer again in the NBA Finals. They've done their part, this crowd.
Yes, they have. Now, what has to happen in Game 7, the team that is more aggressive, the team that takes it to the basket more, draw fouls, dominate the boards, and the inside game is going to win Game 7. Watch for the turnovers, watch for fouls, and watch for good team defense.
I can't watch for all that. You got to simplify it. Leave me with one thing to watch.
Leave me with one thing to watch, the inside scoring, front line. Usually what team dominates front line usually wins. Game 5, Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns dominated inside. Game 6, Seattle's dominated inside. So Game 7, look for the domination inside because that team will be taking the ball to the basket. Is that simple?
Yeah, I can follow that.
Okay, all right.
I'll send you the tape so you don't miss a thing. Yell night. So the 100th game of the year all away by the Sonics, and it's been certainly a 100% effort by the Seattle team, and you'll see the decider on Saturday at 3 Eastern, 12 in the West, and the winner on to the NBA Finals.
Now, also, let's see how the absence of Cedric Ceballos, is that going to hurt Phoenix or not? There's an extra man that came in and gave him a big lift when he was out there, so they won't have him for Game 7.
That's right. He scored the first 4 points as Mustaf has his first points of this series.
And I think, too, also, Dick, you had to wait and see what team is tired. Because
Daddio gets his first points.
Usually when you play a Game 7, sometimes your leg be dead. So the team might not be hitting their jump shot, and that will hurt Seattle. I mean, that will hurt Phoenix.
Final seconds tick away. Oliver Miller misses from three-point range, and Seattle has forced the issue. George Karl Sonics, 118. Phoenix, 102. The winner on Saturday goes to the NBA Championship. Don't wander away. We'll get a word from the Sonics when we return. Due to the time required to finish this game, we'll not have a chance for an interview. The Seattle SuperSonics commanding 118-102 win tonight to force Game 7. Don't miss the Tonight Show, Jay Leno, followed by David Letterman and the Late Night Show, and later with Bob Costas. And we will see you Saturday for Game 7 for Magic Johnson and Steve Jones. I'm Dick Enberg. Happy birthday to Urban the Tray. This has been a presentation of the NBA on NBC.